Alright, this video seems good enough. I'm gonna stop talking right now because I just wrote this and it's not it's not working. I didn't write this, I recorded this and it's not working properly. This is this is the right faceplate. Delete all of these and we'll delete this here. Anyways, hey guys, it's Regret here, and today I'm gonna be recording a video. This is gonna be a Roblox tutorial video on how to make something similar to Security Breach Ruin. Well, right now we're making something pretty much. Can you get out? My dog walked in. Um, Anyways, yeah, what we're making right now is literally Security Breach Ruin. In hindsight, I'm gonna be showing you how they make their DLC and how it works. So, Security Breach is a game where you switch between reality and augmented reality. The only difference is that that reality isn't exactly where you're positioned. It's positioned however many units down they decide, and the game teleports you down and up however many units the game decides to. With that in mind, we want to duplicate the base plate and we want to move it however many units down. I say however many units down because it's subjective. If you're making a map on top of here, like Ruin does, you want to make sure the map can fit down here as well. So you're pretty much adjusting the length and moving it depending on how big the map is between the two. But for us, this is a good size, and we want to start out by making our map here on the top layer, and then I'll show you how to take that into the bottom layer. And you want to make sure that every part that you created is actually anchored. And these walls look way too big for your character to jump over, so they're good, they're perfect for what we want right now. So we're gonna anchor those. We're gonna select this back wall back here. Actually, no, we're not. We're gonna select these, we're gonna extrude them out, and then we're gonna move you forwards here. So what I'm doing right now is putting the character in a box. Oh no, they can't move. Well, that's where a specific unique thing Security Breach Ruin does is have you teleport between two places. Two places that look nearly similar. The only difference is some things you can walk through and some things you can't. And let me know if you guys want me to continue this video, this into a series, because if you guys want to, I will make it into a series. Of course, this does require me to be of higher production level, meaning I'll actually have to make a proper looking map with walls besides these white boxes here. But for right now, just think of this as a prototype, and you can follow along however you want to. You don't have to make this exact map. You can make it a maze, puzzles, things to hop over. Just know that you don't have to copy me 100% to achieve the same result as me, as well as that I don't recommend you do anyways. Some of the people you do end up copying on the internet, they sometimes don't exactly know what they're doing, and you end up copying someone and you end up taking their traits, the fact that they don't know what they're doing. We're gonna rename this to goal, by the way, just so we don't end up selecting it. Now, we selected all these parts. The one important thing that really matters is we go down here to transform C-frame, position. Now, as you can see, the Y is empty. What this means is these all have different Y positions, which is bad. But you want to make sure these have the same Y position. You're going to need to go through a testing phase and test things out. Generally duplicating this and then moving it back into position. Okay, I'll demonstrate what this means. Basically, we'll move it 400 units down, well, you know it's clipped under the ground. That's why you want to make sure your units. Oh, we did that. That's why you want to make sure your units are the same and similar. But right now, they're actually not the same or similar. Because my previous times, there was no audio. It's a perfect video. It's just there was no audio, although this only happened once. But they never looked identical in their Y values. Generally, again, it's only been one that had a different position, and I just had to change it. I have no clue why you all have different positions. Okay, fine. We'll move you up and we'll drag you back down. This should in turn fix it. Because if we select below, it's now sitting on the surface. No, we want, oh, not that. Turn off collisions. Select everything again, duplicate it. Honestly, this room looks worse and worse. When I look at this and re-record it, it looked better last time, last recording, and then it looked better even the previous recording before that. So now we'll move it down 400 units and we have our other map. If you look here, we have an AR gate here, and if you look down there, there's nothing here. I'm going to copy this wall here. I'm going to put it right here, meaning we can't pass this wall. And we'll just name this real world gate. Although these probably have the different numbers, different meaning. So we'll turn this to real world gate, and then this one down here, we'll name it AR gate, because I probably switched up the meaning of these two. This will be purple, that one is bluish green, bright bluish green. And actually that's the end of our map building. We're not going to add anything down here. The only thing is this was a proof of concept. Now that we're finished with our map building, we now want to start on writing our code. And it's actually very simple, very easy, really. We're going to go to starter player scripts, and we're going to make a local script. I'm going to name this teleport for convenience sake. User input service is service. Game get service, user input service. So we're going to use the user input service. We're going to grab the player, and we're going to grab the character, the player's character. And if it's not there, we're going to wait for it to load. And then we're actually going to grab the character's humanoid root part. Now we can make our two functions, shifting down and shifting up, with one little boolean value, meaning real world, and it's going to be true because when we spawn in the real world, quote unquote real world, and we're going to actually plug these in to an input began, and we're going to connect the event. We're going to have two of these. Now what we're going to connect the events to are these functions here. Events can be used to wait before executing a function, wait before executing some part of code, or you can connect functions to that event, meaning when it's pretty much a callback, meaning when user input service ran and you press a button, it's connected to this function, or it's connecting to the callback, and the callback is this function here. So we're going to shift up and down, but before we can do that, we're going to need our input, which is an input object, and GP, which is a boolean, short for game process event. And these are actually just typecasting. They're useful for when you make modules for other people, or when you want to make it for yourself. say you get back to this a month later and you have no idea what to put here. Well, you have object casting here to help you out. Input object takes an input, a user input. And GPA is its intended purpose is if the player is chatting, if the Roblox player is in the chat, chatting away, typing on keys, that could actually trigger things to happen. We don't want that, so we just skip that. Return just means that it's returning true, and it will by default return true, and it will end this, meaning it won't run anything below this line. Now what's below this line, we're plugging in our input.keycode. Make sure this is input.keycode and not just input. We want it to run if we press the F key. And also typecasting is used for documentation. It's really good. If you want people to learn what you're doing, you can write this here. So I don't really nest in my code when I make if statements. I'm going to teach you two ways to get rid of this. What we can do is say and real world, meaning and the value of real world is true. And if you want to negate this, you can say and not real world, meaning and not the value of real world currently, which is basically saying false. But I'm not going to write it this way. I'm going to show you the other way. I write it this way, meaning if real world, right, when you guard case, you want to negate your statement, meaning if not real world, then return end, meaning if this isn't true, we want to run this code here if we press F. And if this is true, we don't want to run this code here. So we have two things running parallel around the same time of each other. And we need to negate this with one of these switches here. And we're going to need one more function or method down the road. I will get to that in a few seconds. Right now, we actually just want to change our characters, not position. We want to change their C frame. So this will be the cframe.new. And we're keeping the X position. For the Y position, we're not keeping it. We're shifting it down by 400 studs. Remember that? And we're keeping our Z position. Now this works fine and dandy, but once we actually teleport, our player's rotation gets reset to 0, 0. The rotation is this here. To fix that, we want to times it by C-frame angles. Angles is rotation. And we just want to radian our humanoid repart.rotation. You can use rotation, or you can use orientation, which is this here. I use rotation. It's not anywhere in here. It's a property that's hidden, but you can still reference it in code. I just use rotation because it's actually shorter. That's literally it. And we're gonna copy this code here. When you write repetitive code, it's sometimes best just to copy it. We're gonna use our Y. We're gonna keep our Y position, and we're gonna keep our Z position. Now that is set up for here. And we can copy that down here. One thing you need to make sure of is to teleport your character those same amount of units up. Otherwise you'll fall through the map. And speaking about going nowhere, I'm going to teach you this one thing here. We're going to need to wait. Reason being because these both run at the same time. If we did not wait, and let's say RW is equal to false, and RW is equal to true. Actually, I'll just demonstrate it right here. We press F and we go down. But now I press F. I am pressing F, but we're not actually teleporting up. In fact, the game is teleporting us twice in the span of a millisecond. And the reason why is because this is simultaneously true and this is simultaneously false, as these both run parallel to each other around the same time. So we want to use task.wait here to buffer, and this just waits a very small increment before actually changing this. And speaking of changing this does not have to be exactly false or true. What you can actually write is a more logical way of assigning a value or reassigning a value, and this mainly only works with booleans, is the not and the same value. Meaning right now we set real world to true, real world is true, and we want it to be equal to not real world. Real world is true, so true is equal to not true. And that basically just gates it into being false. And that's the same for here, because we made it false here. The second time we press F on our keyboard, this runs, so it's false. And we're setting this equal to not false. What's not false? True is not false. And that's just a more logical way of approaching it without actually having to write out true every time and false every time. You can flip-flop with this. And now we'll demonstrate how this works. We press F. Oh, look at that, we teleported downwards. We can actually see the base plate above us. Again, Fnaf Security Breach has low lighting. They have no skybox. So it's pitch black and you can't really see what's above you. And generally you're inside a building, so there is no sky above you to look at that. And we can teleport back up. The illusion gets broken a lot actually. I don't know why our math is off here with these two maps looking different. But we do have something gating us here. Alright, I turned off the collision for you. Let's turn you back on. Alright, now we'll go back in here, and as you can see, this is in front of us. But let's say theoretically we were to put on a mask with the button of F, and now we're in augmented reality, and now we're back into the real world. We touched our goal, that was it. We just wanted to make it to this goal. Now, this has been a fun tutorial. I've remade this and re-recorded this 4 to 3 times already. So yeah, you can tell how much I'm enjoying this, but on a real note, this actually was fun to make. And if you guys want me to continue this into a series on how to make something similar to Ruin, I might not make Ruin itself in its entirety, but I will want to show you other things like how to make an inhibitor and how to make fields. What I mean by fields is there are places in Security Breach Ruin where you can't put on your mask and where you can't take off your mask. And those are actually just invisible boxes where if you're in them, they disable your ability to do that. So in the next video, I will teach you how to make that if you guys want to learn more. Regardless of which, I will probably still make that, regardless of if you want to learn or not. But if you guys like this video, you can like it. If you guys don't like this video, you don't have to like it, or you can even dislike it. I'm not looking for likes here, I'm looking for entertainment. Entertaining my returning fans. Because there are some people who still watch my videos. Not to completion, but speaking of completion, I finally completed something. And that something is a stream, a live stream. I completed a series. Not a game series, but I completed a full game, pretty much. And my friends like to joke about me not completing things, so I took the liberty to prove them wrong. So yeah, if you want to look at that, I will link that down in the description. My playlist of the stream that I completed. A bunch of other completed content will also go down there as well. But if you guys like this video, you can like it. If you don't, you don't have to. Thank you for the returning subscribers who are watching my videos and content now. And thank you to you, the new people who are watching this. Again, I'm making this content to entertain, and if you want me to continue this, say you want to learn this and want to probably try and make this, or you just want to learn this but not make this, let me know. This has been fun to do this, and I'll expand upon this. Of course, if I expand upon this, I have to make this into an actual map and not just white boxes. Of course, I'll get to that in the meantime. This has been You Live, You Learn, Regret, and I do not regret uploading this video. Peace.